Hey, what's up everybody? It's the Crypto Ginger here. Just wanted to bring you guys some more news. Really quickly, guys, I want to start off with an actual article that was retweeted by BondCrypt XRP. You can find him in the XRP community at BondCrypt, posting quite a bit of information like, a lot of the regulars. What he did is he summarized this article pretty nicely here by stating that Bakkt's futures testing is going to be taking place on the 22nd of July, and it is heavily emphasized in this article that it will not impact the Bitcoin price. It is only a testing phase. As you can see, it specifies here that this beta testing will be going through this product and underlying infrastructure phase to see how things will evolve. And of course, this is going to be referred to as the user acceptance testing. So again, we are hearing Bakkt come out doing now a futures testing, but it will not impact the Bitcoin price. I would guess that we might be seeing at least some sort of case study from this testing to see what it could potentially do to the price of Bitcoin. And I'm hopeful that we do get that kind of information relayed to us as quickly as it's actually, coming out to them as well. But nonetheless, we are hearing about Bakkt coming out here. This is very, very good for the ecosystem. We just had Ledger X coming out, being accepted for Bitcoin futures, ErisX as well, and now Bakkt. So I really think that the next biggest entity would possibly be Fidelity, that we would have some really good news in the near future on as well. So this is definitely good for sure, but just keep in mind, guys, again, this is just a testing phase and it will not impact the Bitcoin price. A couple other things I want to quickly go over as well. Now, since we're on the topic of Bitcoin, I figured I'd segue into this particular article here from Cointelegraph.com, where we can see that retail investors can now bet on Bitcoin hitting $100,000 by 2020. And of course, I would say that when it comes to the terminology of betting, there are definitely multiple platforms out there that let you bet, but this is actually being done through Ledger X, where we just actually found out that they were approved for Bitcoin futures. What we can see here is that the United States-based regulated crypto derivatives and clearing platform Ledger X is giving retail investors the chance to bet on Bitcoin hitting $100,000 by 2020. What we can see here, as Bloomberg reported on July 17th, the $100,000 call option implies that Bitcoin's current valuation could increase over tenfold and hit $2 trillion market capitalization. We can easily see here, again, this is pretty much done through derivatives trading via their platform. And of course, we can also see that Ledger X's CEO Paul Chow had gone to Bloomberg, or at least spoke with them in regards to this setup. And of course, he says, dozens and dozens of these institutions got back to us saying that we are interested in trading contracts like this particular betting contract. He also states that I understand $100,000 is a large number, but a lot of us who have been in this space remember Bitcoin at $1, then it hit $10, then $100, then $10,000. A $100,000 contract doesn't even make us blink. So guys, these are people who I would imagine have been in this cryptocurrency space for quite some time, have been watching how Bitcoin goes up and of course retraces and then of course goes right back up again. All these parabolic moves that we've been witnessing through the entirety of its existence. And now we're seeing that they're going about, as far as their trade betting on their platform, to bet to see whether or not $100,000 Bitcoin is something we'll see in 2020. So if this is up your alley and you are someone who's been looking at Ledger X as an investment opportunity, this could be one of those ways for you to make some extra, at least Bitcoin from what I'm gathering here, at least some extra money on the side for your bet. But just to think that we could be seeing $100,000 Bitcoin by 2020 is incredible, especially having heard the different types of price predictions that have been thrown out there for quite some time. And let's not forget John McAfee, who has been very notorious about speaking out regarding Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, especially with his bet that he made several years back, I believe, regarding whether or not Bitcoin was going to hit $1 million by 2020. I'm not exactly sure if that's going to happen, but we are at least seeing that there are betting options on Ledger X for seeing Bitcoin hit roughly around $100,000 by 2020. So I think that's a little bit more likely to happen than $1 million Bitcoin, but you let me know what you guys think is going to happen with Bitcoin when it comes to the price point. Some of you guys might not be too bullish on Bitcoin because you have other cryptocurrency you favor, but nonetheless, Bitcoin is the more dominant coin, at least at this point in time, so it might have the means of getting to $100,000 by 2020 and pulling in that much market capitalization within the trillions of dollars before most of your other cryptocurrencies will. So again, let me know what you guys think about this right here. A couple of things I wanted to quickly go over as well. So it looks as though it's becoming a little bit more public knowledge now that Christine Lagarde has resigned as the head of the IMF and making her way over to the European Central Bank. And of course, this is something that she publicly announced very recently, as a matter of fact. Looks as though her resignation date will formally take place around September 12th, which is very interesting when it comes to the talking points of whether or not we could see some gradual money coming back into the ecosystem around the Q4 section of 2019. It kind of puts Christine Lagarde's resignation in that same time frame. So again, interesting timing of all of this here. The article here from Wall Street states that she announced her formal resignation in a statement Tuesday saying, "I have made this decision in my best interest for the fund as it will expedite the selection process for my successor." Then it goes further to state that day-to-day leadership of the fund has already been handed over to David Lipton, the American who is the IMF's #2 official as the first deputy manager director. And of course, there has been the talking point that David Lipton is also at least somewhat a possible crypto-friendly representation here, so we could actually see this be very good for IMF. We already know that Christine Lagarde again has had a major connection with Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, so who knows exactly where this is going to lead, but I do think that this right here is pretty big, again, not only for Christine Lagarde, but for financing and the banking sectors, and hopefully the merging of the old fiat system into this new cryptocurrency digital realm that we're dealing with right now. And again, if there's any major links that are taking place between Christine Lagarde, Brad Garlinghouse, and Ripple, especially with Brad Garlinghouse and Ripple trying to make a use case, a major use case out of XRapid and XRP. This could be exceptionally big for Ripple, the company, and eventually very big for XRP and its price point. But of course, I found another article that kind of illustrates a little bit more in the way of the opinion of Christine Lagarde regarding different types of cryptos being disruptive, and also how Ripple and Circle, the companies, will be helpful for the banking industry as well. Now, again, this is something that Christine Lagarde has been openly outspoken about, but she uses some key words here that I think are very important. One in particular, the word cannibalization. What she said outright, and of course this is just something recently that took place, is that she thinks that banking system at large in many countries, the difference will not be between those who are disrupted and those who survive. The difference will be between those who are cannibalized because they're not seeing it coming and not embracing it, and those who self-induce that cannibalization. She goes further to state that I am using cannibalization on purpose because it is a bit of a striking, horrible word. But it's really what it means. You're going to disrupt your business model. You're going to change it. You're going to reduce your costs. You're going to expedite your transactions. And you're going to inspire confidence because you will build out of that basis of an existing backbone, which is your bank and the confidence relationship you've established with your customers. So that's where I see changes happening now. If you think of Circle and Ripple and all of those, that's where they are active and helpful. So she's absolutely right. She does go further to talk about how cryptocurrencies are shaking the system. We've most certainly heard that. And we've also heard her very specifically say that if banks do not adapt the fintech, then they run the risk of basically disappearing off the face of this planet. So guys, a very strong opinion when it comes to Christine Lagarde. Again, she has resigned as the head of the IMF and moving to the European Central Bank. I would most certainly take her word for what she's saying very seriously, because she has been this, in this particular industry for quite some time. She knows exactly what she's talking about when it comes to money and the transfer of money back and forth. So I'm hopeful that with her being, again, the head of the ECB and her relationship with Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, we might start seeing more fintech on Ripple's side being merged into some of these central banks across the globe here. Not exactly sure how long that's going to take or if that's even something that is doable, But again, those connections that have been made when it comes to Christine Lagarde are very important, and especially, again, the connection she made with Ripple, the company. We know exactly what Ripple's trying to do, making a use case out of not only XRapid, but especially XRP. And let's not forget that Christine Lagarde just recently had a chance to get very close to President Trump when it comes to being at the G20 summit. And of course, I would imagine with the elitist of the elite getting together and talking, that they were not conversing regarding Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. I'm sure they were talking about digital assets such as XRP and Ripple, the company. And the reason why is because these guys have all been using the same lingo, a level playing field. They're also talking about digital assets, not cryptocurrencies, not Bitcoin, but digital assets. And we have definitely seen the XRP has been categorized as a digital asset. It's also being considered a bridge asset. So again, it's got a very, very big use case when it comes to its design and what Ripple's trying to do with it. And of course, seeing Brad Garlinghouse in the same room with Christine Lagarde and some of the biggest names in banking. I mean, guys, you can actually connect the dots now at this point in time and understand that some big things are going to happen. I really think that Ripple is going to be at the helm of that as well. So let me know what you guys think about this information, guys. There's still a lot of news out there. Just wanted to quickly point out that we are seeing quite a bit of things happening at a very quick pace here. One last thing I wanted to quickly end on just as well. Now, I just wanted to kind of reiterate when it comes to what Brad Garlinghouse has spoken about, because all of this actually ties all together. And of course, here's an article from Ripple Coin News talking about how Brad Garlinghouse himself advised Facebook over Libra, saying that XRP with Ripple already solves a multi-trillion-dollar problem. I definitely emphasized that in my last video. But this right here was through a chain of tweets that he posted after Steve Mnuchin made his public appearance regarding cryptocurrencies, especially about Libra, and the talking points that the U.S. Congress is having regarding their concerns about Libra. So very interesting here. Again, just to kind of reiterate, Brad Garlinghouse has already been working on this with his crew at Ripple to try and solve this multi-trillion-dollar problem. That's, again, been a very major talking point from Brad Garlinghouse for a longest time. For as long as I've been in the XRP community, that's all I've heard. So this is definitely something they've been working on. This is exactly what they've been trying to do with XRapid, again, which is making a use case out of XRP to solve these multi-trillion-dollar problems. And he's at least looking at this right here from the standpoint that the Libra coin won't be able to solve that problem, especially considering the fact that it's a stable coin. So it's one of the situations, guys, where a little bit of controversy from the Libra side of things, because of the fact that they came out, disrupted the entire ecosystem, at least from the stance of those that feel like this right here is important for them to talk about in the U.S. Congress. Really, they got up in arms about the situation, as you could definitely tell from the past, that they definitely do not want Facebook going forward with the Libra coin. They look at that situation as possibly Facebook trying to create their own type of central banking system there, because of their connections with different countries out there, and of course the amount of partners they've already accumulated. So again, a very, very interesting situation taking place. I think that this right here is something we're going to be seeing be talked about for the rest of this year, for 2019, whether or not Facebook goes forward with the Libra coin. I just, at this point in time, I don't see them not going about creating the Libra coin, even with the penalties that they might accrue, which I had actually heard that if they go forward and do this and they don't go through the process of all the regulations necessary for being a banking structure that President Trump actually announced through his tweets, they run the risk of being fined $1 million a day, I believe, for this, which accumulates to roughly around $365 million a year. So even if they didn't actually go through and get the proper regulations and they just took the fine, they'd be able to take care of that fine no problem at the end of each year, just with the amount of money they would accumulate. So I'm not exactly sure if that was a big scare tactic on the U.S. Congress behalf, at least enough to scare Facebook off. Them being one of the biggest conglomerate companies out there for media, that right there is a force to be reckoned with, from at least the standpoint of getting into this market here and having roughly around 2.7 billion active users already. That's a huge audience for Facebook, and to them, that right there would be a way for them to gain a lot of attention and possibly even a lot lot of money very quickly. So again, very interesting things are taking place in this ecosystem, guys. Let me know what you think about this situation here. And of course, again, thank you for being a part of this channel. I definitely appreciate you looking into this information with me, letting me know things in the comments section. If you are new to this channel, please hit the like and subscribe button. Get this information shared out there to as many people as you possibly can. And of course, if you have anything to add to this, please leave it in the comments section just as well. Outside of that, thanks again for watching, guys, and have a good day. Bye-bye.